Yay! Let's hear. Oh, there I am. Let's hear a big round of applause for Big D.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
Wow, I was in a like so mood. Now I'm like in a great mood. You guys make people happy. And can you believe all these years, all these freaking years, and you've never been on the show before?
Yeah.
What is that about? What happened?
I at least know the first time I dialed on to AAF. I was in 7th grade, and I put it on because someone told me they were playing good music, and I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, I'm really listening to, like, real adult stuff.
A
Like,
7th grade.
Yeah.
You were
So it's
7th
great to
That
be
is
here.
so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
Did you call me? Did you call?
Oh, funny enough, I did call the station to request my middle school band and realized that you couldn't just arbitrarily say a band name and they would seek out the demo tape.
Oh, that's right. A lot of people still don't get that. And talk right into that mic,
Oh, yeah,
right
sorry.
up close. Yeah.
Sorry.
So here you are, and it's so great to see you all.
Yeah, thanks.
I love that our studio's so full, but you just fit in so well.
Yeah, how many is there? 2, 4? There's almost 10 of us.
I know.
Yeah.
And I must say, you're probably one of the best looking bands in
Oh,
Boston.
nice.
Yeah.
Seriously.
A bunch of kids that looked like the dork in 16 Candles love hearing that.
Yeah. And it's just fabulous. And what have you been up to since I think I saw you quite a while back at some social gathering or some show. What's going on with you with Big D and the Kids Table?
We've actually had quite a bit. We through Kickstarter we put out 2 records. One being more of our like ska, thrashy, heavy stuff and lively stuff, and one of them more of our stroll, which is a style of music we're trying to invent and develop, which is more like just kind of like hopscotch, double Dutch rhymes and. Just more of our normal style, but a little softer, a little bit more eclectic, outside the box. So that's called Stroll. So we put out double record on our own, and that was really fun to do because it was financed by our listeners. And then we went pretty deep into China on our own, just kind of figuring it out, touring in China. And now our front burner news is our DVD of 17 years just arrived at my house yesterday. Yeah, and I just gave people copies for the first time today.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so we just did that. Yeah.
Wow.
And then after that, we're doing specialty shows inspired by Iron Maiden. Where we've been a band for so long that we have different albums that people gravitate to more. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna start playing, albums. Start like the whole album in order.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're going to do like special feature shows, so it'll bring different people out that are into
different generations.
Great
like,
idea.
Our listeners are really awesome. They definitely have torches and pitchforks of this is the greatest, this is the better record, and
people are very adamant about,
but very equal. If they all went to war to each other, I don't even know what the outcome would be.
Big D Wars.
Yeah.
Big D album wars.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of fascinated by your time spent in China. What was that like?
Well, we definitely had always tried. We didn't get the fortunate thing where certain bands would be taken to Japan after they did pretty well, but we had to kind of book our own tour in Japan, and it took us 10 years, literally 8 and 10 years to just get enough contacts and get enough money and finally get there. And what I meant before was a lot of bands just get scooped up and brought there. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm just trying to show how hard it was to get there. And when we were working it out, China got put on our plate, and we just DIY'd it and went deep about halfway in, and it was outrageous touring, outrageous living, everything on your back. I think we were all carrying more than 150 pounds at any time, just all the gear, all subways, trains, overnight trains, and it was pretty much the craziest experience of our lives. Yeah,
I know.
And now we're going to Southeast Asia just in a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, this is the stuff. I mean, we know all the bands. Japan's pretty mainstream for performances, but when you said China, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and deep in there. To the point where people definitely, we had to just take pictures with children just because we were a bunch of silly looking Americans. They like people would hand us their babies and kids and be like, "You guys, we just don't see a lot like you very often. Can we just take pictures of you?" So it was funny. I said to the guys, I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, the amount of reactions we've got just by entering a room or a subway station. I'm gonna walk into a mall in Boston and be like, huh? Look at me, I'm here." And people will be
I
like,
know.
people will be like, well, not because of the band, just because you're an American, like it was such a like, wow, how are you real? Like
That's amazing.
Yeah, it
And
was-
so, didn't you feel kind of like a zoo animal or something?
yeah, very,
Like-
very much. so.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was hilarious. People would bump into each other, like literally bump into each other, and it was such a happening just to be standing near people that it was like your own little Beatles mania in your back pocket.
What kind of venue did you book the shows?
All
there?
encompassing, every
Okay.
kind of different place. Yeah.
So you did
From festivals to just like a teeny weeny squat to a proper bar because China just started through Bad News Records from Japan. China is just getting rock and roll venues.
Wow.
The first one was in Beijing, and we played one of their first shows. And they're just building it and having a normal scene quotes.
the things we take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely, and everyone's so nice and they treat you so well.
That's really and
Yeah.
and so you were when you say deep.
DIY.
Yeah. I mean, there were just places that there were.
Making it work. They're all like the forefront people making their, hey, we're gonna have punk rock. Hey, we're gonna have rock and roll and playing with the bands. And I mean, they're all being the firsts to be doing all those
That's
things.
pretty amazing unto
Yeah.
itself. So you built bridges there and
Yeah.
bonded with people that are just starting out and
Yeah.
they're doing all of this without anybody. They're
Absolutely,
just digging the road as they go.
Absolutely, yeah. And we hope to go back and do the same thing again. But Southeast Asia is next. We go to Southeast Asia and Australia, and we're pretty excited about Southeast Asia because the way we look at some things is if we weren't in this band, none of us would really have the collateral to the money to go and just vacation in these places and have a
Absolutely.
swell old time. So the culture is only available to us because of the band and the music and working hard to try to just get there.
So when is your Southeast Asia trip?
I think it's
coming
next
up?
month.
And,
Huh?
was it the end of April?
Yeah. Just
Wow.
coming up. Yeah.
That's
We're
right
just
around
batting
the
down the
corner.
hatches for it. Yeah.
When did you get back? When did you do China?
Last year.
Yeah, last year.
Okay.
Just about a year ago.
how long?
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
We did like 14 cities
Okay.
But
in,
more
in
travel.
China. So
Did you, when you got there, were you kind of booking shows when you were there, or did you have them pre-booked?
No, but we were showing up to promises of promoters of cars that weren't there. Like meaning, that there was this big old joke of showing up to a city and being like, well, we're supposed to, we're basically every plan, every item was just didn't happen. So
Wow.
you just, if you had to think about Boston, it was almost like we had to walk to Gloucester from Boston to shows, if you know what I mean, or to Salem at least. Like it was,
right.
it was some
It's
great.
intense.
It was great living, and you didn't great meaning like you get to see how far and hard you can go, and you didn't even realize you were doing it so tough until you got home and got in your bed and took a nice shower, and then you're like, geez, that was tough.
Yeah. That's always the way. We just do what we have to do, and then later on we collapse and
Yeah.
say, I don't believe I did that. You know?
And you're just proud to be there. Like I said,
Right.
like if it wasn't for the band, we wouldn't be going there. You know what I mean? And meeting the people and
Did you were you able to document any of it on film?
yeah, we have a bunch.
Yeah. Really? I was
Such good
almost
stuff.
afraid to ask because I was thinking, what if they didn't and they're kind of upset, or maybe their cameras got
Well,
taken
we had
away
weird
or
things
whatever,
like
but
yeah, we got denied from some hotels because people thought we were journalists. They
Yeah.
thought we were lying
Yeah.
about being in a band, and they were like, they're remember that whole thing with journal? They're like they're journalists, and we're shutting down journalists from hotels. There was a lot of being turned away because
there's an element
we
to
didn't fit
paranoia.
the shape. Yeah.
Absolutely. So are you planning on doing anything with that footage that you've taken there?
It's funny. It's because the DVD just came out. It's funny that you asked that. I just put it on a hard drive, and that was my I'm going to do it. I was going to edit it personally on the next tour, but at this moment, I was just like, stay away from me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if anybody who does film editing knows it's a commitment.
It is a commitment.
Yeah.
I
But
want to
yes.
see it. I
Oh, it's
want to
great.
know. You have to keep me posted on
Overnight
this.
trains.
I know. And if you get this, you've got a lot of footage, so you
Yes.
could actually put a mini documentary together on
Absolutely.
this whole thing, and with a narrative.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just be amazing.
Maybe somebody out there wants to edit it.
there are people. There are folks.
We've got the footage.
I know. We're talking to Big D and the Kids Table here on WAAF Bay State Rock, and wow. And how long are you going to be in Southeast Asia for? You've got a tour coming up next month.
The whole tour is about a month.
Okay.
right?
I think
Yeah.
it's oh sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's about 8 days of Asia. We get to go to Hawaii, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And then we're going, and so after we get to Asia, we're gonna decompress, and then we go to Australia for like 8 days.
Oh.
And then
Hug
we-
a kangaroo for me, will you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hug a kangaroo. That's gonna happen.
I'm gonna nosedive into the pouch.
But we're going to Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore for sure. So,
Whoa.
and a possible jaunt to the Philippines.
But which is funny is
That's a lot of traveling.
It's it's like the band's been together since 95, 96, and we're just starting to do these things. Like we're just starting to go to Australia, and I guess what I'm saying is